They were being persecuted. They were told not to preach again. Just like the Senate of Nigeria, Federal Republic, now they are telling them not to preach in bus. Make all the stadium in Nigeria to become a prison. If we want to enforce that law, we are coming. But we break that law. Our master told us to go into the world and preach the gospel to every creature. You sit somewhere there and you're saying we shouldn't preach in buses. We will preach in buses. We will preach everywhere because you are evil, making evil decrease. Evil. We will rather obey God than man. That's what our fathers told them in those days. You better tell them. No Pentecostal must listen to that. And the national president, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, I lead over 65 million people. Everybody, go into every taxi, go into every bus and preach. Let them arrest us. Let them turn National Stadium Lagos into prison. I will come there. Let them turn National Stadium Abuja into prison. I'll come there. Let them build more prison. They will be the one that will go there and they will rot there. And God will judge them. You don't go after killers. You don't go after those that are beheading. You don't go after rapists. You don't go after kidnappers. You don't go after bandits who are unlawfully carrying arms. You are not going after them. You are going after us who are preaching the gospel of peace that have changed the lives of people. We won't listen to you. You are not God. Who are you? You are there for eternal, and God will wipe all of you out.
And if you allow yourselves to be deceived, things can only get worse. Fulani terrorists will take over your land. Time and time again, I have warned you on this very matter. But some of you never ever listened. Because in this life, what goes around comes around. If you support evil today because you're benefiting, eventually that evil will overwhelm you.
By various violent people, Iswa, Boko Haram, Lakurawa, and all of that, all of which stem from Islam, and they are trying to forcefully make Nigeria an Islamic nation. They are targeting us, killing us in southern Kaduna, killing us in Plateau, killing us in Taraba, killing us in Benue, and they are making incursion into the south from Oyo State, from Kwara, from Oyo State, from
Benue State is their target now. Benue State, they have taken over Plateau. Governor of Plateau State, Fulani. Debit's governor, Fulani. Speaker, Fulani. Even the secretary, Fulani, they have taken over. Their next plan is to enter Benue State. After Benue State, they will not enter Enugu. Nigeria, wake up. Wake up, Nigeria.
Recently, we've seen the Christians leader, the PFN, and the CAN, association right to Donald Trump. And nnamdikanu have always said that Nigeria is an Islamic nation, that there are plans by the Islamic extremists to, make Nigeria an Islamic nation and impose Sharia on every citizen of Nigeria. And now it's becoming more, open that these are the plan of the Islamic leaders. And now we've seen that the Christian leaders have written to Donald Trump. They are saying they can't continue with this, that nnamdikanu have always said it. And now they've already accepted what nnamdikanu is saying. And nnamdikanu said that the, Middle Belt Christians will join Biafra. And now they've accepted that Biafra is only the solution.
It's not only the Middle Belt, Christians. Anybody that's a Christian in the entire North that felt that he is not safe, will have Biafra as a refuge. nnamdikanu have already stated. You see, I do not know why they are this reawakening all of a sudden, and we are seeing them, coming up. I can give you number of, powerful Christians, leaders, pastors, evangelists, from Nigeria at this moment who that have come out and begin to challenge the status quo. Even those who were against nnamdikanu from the beginning are to speak up. And now the fact is that be able to back nnamdikanu at that point, because they felt that the Christendom was not threatened. Nobody's threatening them and nobody's challenging them, but now it has become very clear that even that the man from Yahaya, Yangi, or whatever they call him, Sheikh Yahaya, declared it, and he repeated it, that he is not going back, that this is the plan, and nobody is going to change it, and he's not even regretting, declaring that Nigeria is a Muslim country, and that is why Muslim ticket will continue. But we are talking about over 180 million Christians in Nigeria.
180 million
Christians in Nigeria.
So Christians are the more populated ones.
Bro, I can tell you, yes, because they are using this influence that they have been in power. They are using this influence that Muslims and all that, and they are okay. If you go there, even in the north, we have more Christians in the north. In the middle belt, you have even in Yoruba land, where you have predominantly Christians are in Biafra land. So if you look at, and we are talking about 85 million Biafrans who are Christians, then you now add up whatever, that will be giving you about 95 million, of them at the end of the day who are, Christians from the middle belt axis, including the southwest at the end of the day. Now you can see the position of the PFN and the CAN coming to challenge, like as if they are just regaining consciousness over time. But when nnamdikanu, I wonder why most of them have not come out now to declare. Now it has become obvious, it has become a reality that the entire, you saw the Kano State Governor Helen, celebrating that art boss, but the DSS and the federal government are quiet, even when there is a massive call that DSS should actually go after him. Like the videos you watch, you can see how angry the PFN leaders are, how angry the Christian leaders in this country are. You can see their outburst. You can also notice in them that it has dawned on them now that nnamdikanu was actually right, and most of them are regretting. There would have been massive, rally to call for his immediate release, but they were not able to do that. But they're just realizing it, and what's the only thing they know they can do now is to officially write to Donald Trump officially, as we reported, that Biafra has now become the only solution. Biafra is just the way. Biafra is the only hope. Is Biafra or nothing. And why they are talking about Biafra? Because they have foreseen that in time, just like we've seen other nations of the world collapse, like Egypt, like Syria, like Lebanon, like Iran, like Iraq. Like Turkey, like Morocco, like these are nations, yes, that collapse, just by virtue of just a government coming in. And you can look at it now. You know why these extremists are celebrated? But because if you look at the Nigerian law, constitution, and what is happening in the Senate now, they are almost closer. You just need another president that will come, and once they enact the bill, that is so they are gradually moving to it. Now they said you cannot preach anywhere in Nigeria. That is, if you preach, it will attract a certain fine, and of course followed by jail. You're going to court, and the process, they will process you there under Sharia, and before you know, you are already in prison. Then secondly, they are also coming up with another angle of banning NGOs, non-governmental organizations, and most of the non-governmental organizations they are targeting is already the church, and they have passed the first reading and the second reading. So what does that mean? That before you even have a microphone, before you even buy any equipment to preach anywhere in Nigeria, you will now have to go and obtain clearance from them. What if they decide not to give you any clearance? You can see that policies are moving towards that agenda, and before you know it, it will come as a sudden decision and act, and before you know it, they have started executing it. Even the issue of state police, the idea of state police is actually to empower Islamization. And I can tell you, because yes, that's why they are doing all this. And at the end of the day, they will put it on you, and you'll be taken unawares. I'm telling you, and that's why the North are rejoicing over it and have come out to proclaim Nigeria as an Islamic nation. The question is that, are they realizing it now? Then why would they be running to United States of America, where nnamdikanu have already alerted the whole world that Nigeria is heading towards Islamization, and the only option is for, of course, Nigeria to break up. Now, they are saying Biafra, they stand, Aburi, they stand, Biafra is the holy hope, Biafra is the only thing that can rescue them. And they are going ahead to tell Donald Trump to quickly and fast as he can recognize Biafra as a nation. You know why? Because according to the charter presented to United Nations, according to the charter, the Biafra charter presented to EU, and of course to the Congress, Biafra is being seen as a secular nation with Christian values. So it is predominantly a Christian nation. So you can see it is clear now that that's the only thing that's going to save Christianity in Nigeria, in West Africa. And that is why the religious leaders now have taken it upon them to join Biafra movement, to join Biafra struggle, to join Biafra agitation, and get it done, you know, very well. And we're out in United Kingdom, in Britain at the moment now. You can see what the kind of game they are playing now. When a certain UK billionaire came out and told the whole world that anywhere a Christian is being arrested in Britain, anywhere in the world, that they should contact him. That he has Christian lawyers that are definitely going to defend him. It's happening in Britain. The American government is battling uprising of extremism in America too. So it has become a global thing, and they are telling you they are definitely going to export Islam, jihad in every home in the globe. And that is why Benjamin Netanyahu is angry, and that is why you see the Israeli parliament doing what they are doing, and that is why you see the US Congress doing what they are doing about Biafra, and that is why they are saying, okay, we have now discovered that it was the extremists, it was the extremist ideology, the extremist government, the jihadist government of Nigeria that have already seen the direction nnamdikanu and simonekpa we are going, and that was why they quickly sentenced them to judgment, yes, send them to prison so that they can continue to do what they are doing without anybody interfering in what they intend to achieve. So this has actually exposed the judgment that was given to simonekpa, the judgment that was given to nnamdikanu. It was politically motivated to silence them so that nobody will continue to expose or to create that kind of consciousness that Nigeria is actually collapsing. So to tell you that Nigeria government has actually compromised, and they are jubilating because they never saw it coming, that somebody like nnamdikanu will arise and understand what they are doing, that somebody like simonekpa will arise and understand what they are doing now. But the Christian leaders in Nigeria now are saying enough is enough. We have seen the handwriting clearly stated on the wall. And why is it that Nigerian government are not going after these very particular people who even when the whole world condemned that rhetoric from the northern Muslims that Nigeria is a Christian, and that the Muslim teaching is a sign of defeat, that they have defeated Christians in Nigeria. Nobody was arrested. There was no reasonable treason charges out given declared, or DSS going after them, or the army going after such a statement coming from a sheikh from the north. So it tells you that Nigerian government definitely understand that what this man said was a clear-cut agenda of already what they are clearly about to do in the nearest future. So how do you escape this? And you can see they are coming up with policies of banning preaching of the gospel anywhere in the world. Whether you are an NGO, you have to take permission from Abuja before you are able to preach the gospel anywhere in the world. So in Nigeria, so it becomes very clear that they are already recognizing Nigeria, even though a lot of people know. But now I think it has gotten into the consciousness of the Christian body. It has gotten into the consciousness of Christian Association of Nigeria. It has gotten into the consciousness of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, that we are just sleeping all this while, and we need to wake up.
Okay, but just recently we saw the Bishop visit Tinubu as regards telling him what is currently happening in the country. But we saw the way Tinubu, a lot of people were saying they were not happy with the way Tinubu, welcomed them. Do you think that if it was a Muslim, do you think Tinubu would have talked to them in the way he talked to the bishop? Tinubu is backing the Islamic agenda.
Tinubu is part of the agenda. There's no two ways about it. He believes in the agenda, and for him to have attained that position is as a result of the agenda. Tinubu became a president of Nigeria because of the Islamic agenda. And remember, he told you he will continue from where Buhari stopped. That message, people did not understand it. It is the Islamization policies. It is the Islamization agenda. It's an extension of a statement that we are not going back, we are not backing down, in disguise, under a democratic setting, that Nigeria will be part of the replot of the Northerners. Why you don't know why Atiku becomes restless this moment. Why Atiku is, what is Atiku looking for? Atiku is trying to put the lie to ignite to keep the fire burning, to start reminding Bola Ahmed Tinubu that they should not allow Christianity to take over the Nigerian government at the end of the day. And that's why Atiku is warming up. None of Atiku have anything to offer. Atiku is a flawed man, and to an extent backing the Islamic agenda in Nigeria, as in government and whatever negotiation is going now, is in the favor of total collapse of Nigeria as an Islamic nation. But that will not happen. And that's the clear picture, because why the United Nations are trying to intervene, and AU and the rest of the ECOWAS are trying to intervene, why the reason why the ICC is already, understood now. And that there's going to be a massive shake-up in the United Nations before the end of this year, and a lot of things are going to, there's going to be a shift in the world balancing. Calculations at the moment, when this thing happen before the end of the year, and they could bring in a lot of Christians to begin to check the excesses and the rights of extremism around the world. So Nigeria is not exempted from that plan, and of course it comes as a government. The plot comes as a government. The government in power, and that is a clear picture. So nnamdikanu was on the forefront of this reality that the Christian Association of Nigeria have come to realize that we did make a lot of mistakes. We would have supported nnamdikanu at the moment. Trump will also consider their letter and agitation for Biafra to be recognized. Of course, that's what they are talking about, that Biafra is the only hope. What it means is that that Trump should go ahead and recognize Biafra and create a safe haven for Christians in Nigeria.
But Umahi is saying God sent him to tell the Biafrans that Tinubu has a good plan for the Biafrans, and at the same time he's saying the development that have come to the Southeast under Tinubu was because Tinubu has good intention, and that Biafra agitation should be scrapped. He has come back to reiterate again that Tinubu, God sent him to tell Biafrans Tinubu has a good intention for them. Why is it? A lot of people saying, why is he not saying that? Why is he not telling the same Tinubu to release nnamdikanu for that Tinubu have good intention? And
then how come it's only David Umahi that knows that Tinubu have good intention for Biafrans or for the Igbo people of the Eastern Bloc or the Eastern region? It's only Umahi that knows. How come that other people does not know these good intentions? And that's why that statement needs to be investigated. The good intentions is a sudden proclamation of the Biafran territory under Islam. That is the good intention. That's the only thing. Because if he talks about in terms of project, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of benefits and all that, if I begin to highlight it now, you can look at the new US report that indicted Bola Ahmed Tinubu clearly. And what did that report say? In the physical policy of federal government under Buhari, under Tinubu, they will have the issue of borrowing, we have the issue of expenditure, and we have the issue of transaction. These are the cardinal things that make the physical policy. And if you look at it very well, the US report that just came out today said it very clearly that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government is not transparent. That a lot of corruption has gone in. And where are they using that money for? They are using that money to empower people like David Umahi, to empower people like Ojus Okalo, to empower people like Benjamin Kalu, to shut up over the issue of Eastern governors, to shut up over the issue of release of nnamdikanu, and therefore, embracing the policies of Islamization. So it is only David Umahi and the rest of them that will tell you he has good intention. Can you go on the street and ask an average Easterner that Bola Ahmed Tinubu have good intentions for him, where there's no seaport, there's no airport, there's nothing that's working in the eastern part of the country. Everything infrastructure that is expected to, come alive in those areas, in that region, has been put on hold. Even while Omar himself is the man now speaking, he says he's the lion of the Igbos, and without him, the Igbos cannot make progress. That's the question. So if you are claiming that, then where is it? Now show us examples of what Tinubu's intentions. Is it to sentence nnamdikanu to prison, or the intentions of Islamization of the Christian Biafran people? Is that the intention? So people are surprised that it is only Umahi that knows about the Tinubu's government intention. It has good intentions. And nnamdikanu is there, and he is watching clearly, declaring that Nigeria is under Islamic conquest, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.